6 years since Breonna Taylo was shot and killed in her own home, the federal case against two former Louisville Metro police officers may be coming to an end. This is Wave News at 11. The Department of Justice is asking a federal judge to drop all remaining charges, and it is not the first time the DOJ has stepped in on an officer's behalf in the Taylor case. Wave News reporter Meredith Lee has the update.
It started with police arriving at an apartment in the middle of the night. 6 years later, it may end with the stroke of a judge's pen. The Department of Justice filed a motion Friday asking a federal judge to dismiss all remaining charges against two former LMPD officers connected to the raid that killed Breonna Taylo. Joshua Janes and Kyle Meany are accused of using false information to get the warrants that sent officers to Taylor's apartment on March 13, 2020. Officers broke down the door to the apartment while serving a no-knock drug warrant. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired a single shot at officers thinking they were intruders. Officers fired back, killing Taylor. LMPD Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly was injured by the shot Walker fired. In the months that followed, protests over Taylor's killing spread throughout downtown Louisville. Judges have twice reduced a felony charge against each officer to a misdemeanor, saying there wasn't a direct link between the false information in the warrant and Taylor's death. Federal prosecutors now under the Trump administration say they want to drop the cases in the interest of justice. Janes and Meany were first charged federally back in August of 2022. Those charges came from the DOJ under the Biden administration. They were indicted for conspiracy, civil rights violations, and obstruction of justice related to falsifying the search warrant used in the raid on Taylor's home. Lawyers for both men released statements to the Associated Press. Jane's lawyer said, quote, "We are elated with this development." Meany's lawyer added he is, quote, "incredibly grateful for today's filing," and that Meany, quote, "is looking forward to putting this matter behind him and moving forward with his life." Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, also responded to Friday's developments on Facebook, saying in part, quote, "I am compelled to express my extreme disappointment in Trump and the Department of Justice. Their phone call today informing me that charges against the police are being dropped while implying they have helped me is utterly disrespectful. This is the first time I've heard from them since they took over, and it's clear they have not served me or Breonna well. Their behavior is deplorable." It's not clear when the judge might rule on the request. A hearing is scheduled for April 3rd. Meredith Lee, Wave News.